2NURFM.com, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
Are you a typical, average, ordinary Aussie bloke? Then listen up, fellows. We need you. It is a big, warm welcome to Dr. Lesley MacDonald-Wicks, Senior Lecturer in Nutrition and Dietetics, and PhD student Angelica Quatela in studio with me this morning, ladies. Hello and welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Hi, thanks for having us.
First to you, Lesley. You did a study last year on the typical woman. So
Yes.
this time it's the fellows' turn.
Yeah, look, we did a study which we called the average Australian woman last year, and we found some really interesting things. We found that as women get a little bit older, even when they're quite young, but as they mature, then their body fatness changes. And we find that that can sometimes lead to them changing their dietary practices, and those changes in dietary practices are really not very good for them metabolically. And so we got a lot of interest in that, and women still really aren't very satisfied with their bodies, even when they're young and they're in what we might call the healthy weight range.
Yeah, that's interesting. When you say making dietary changes, what were those changes, just very briefly?
Well, very briefly, they just tried to manage their weight through diet and exercise, but the problem is they would tend to choose the wrong aspects or the wrong way to diet, and that might then have impact on their metabolic health.
Right. Now we're looking at men to see if they are indeed making similar mistakes. Is that
Exactly.
where we're at with
Perfect.
this?
And this is Angelica's PhD.
And we'll bring in Angelica Quatela here. Hi, Angelica. And what an interesting thing to look at. So what are you actually doing for your PhD? How is this working?
I'm investigating the effect of breakfast on the metabolism and the health impact. So we find out, even though breakfast is considered the most important meal of the day, in reality there is not enough evidence to support that breakfast is really good for you and helps you maintaining a good body weight. It's believed that it is, but we don't know. So we want to find more evidence, and this study, the typical Aussie bloke, is aiming to find more evidence with regard to this topic. So we would like to compare men who are breakfast eaters with men who are breakfast skippers and see if these impact on their metabolism, on their physical characteristic, body size, shape. And to do that, we are asking these men aged 18 to 44 years old to complete an online questionnaire, which will be a quick online questionnaire that will ask a few questions about physical activity, demographics, diet, breakfast consumption, and body satisfaction. And then we will ask to come for once in their university to have a few measurements taken, metabolic and physical measurement taken.
There is a saying that you eat like a king for breakfast, a prince for lunch, and a pauper for dinner, starting out the day with usually the biggest meal. I wonder if there are a lot of men who still love to have bacon and eggs for breakfast when they can. So you're looking at those people who enjoy a big hearty breakfast, or at least some kind of breakfast.
Yes.
I've got to say, I know a few tradie mates who have a pie and a chocolate milk for breakfast, which is probably not what you're looking for. But against those who just haven't got time, who maybe have a cup of coffee on the way to work.
Absolutely. That's what we are trying to compare people who have any kind of breakfast to people who do not have breakfast to start with, and see if there are any differences.
Okay, well, there you go, fellas. It's up to you. We need you, as I said earlier at the start of this little chat. We need the typical Aussie men. So if you are between 18 and 44, if you enjoy breakfast or if you skip it completely, we need you to be part of this so that we can actually get some really good quality research to find out if it, in fact, makes any difference whatsoever.
Yeah, and you also have an opportunity to be selected to win a Fitbit, which is a wrist monitor. So there will be a prize draw at the end, and also you will be provided with a full metabolic and physical measurement feedback. So individual feedback.
That's a great idea. Look, it's always nice to have a little prize for an incentive, but at the end of the day, good health is the ultimate prize, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Look, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I do hope that you get some good results from the men. Just interestingly, Lesley, dipping back to the women, have you done the breakfast study on women yet?
No, we did ask them a question about that, but we haven't fully analysed whether that made a difference. But in this study with the blokes, we're taking it a little bit further in the questions about the breakfast, but we did just ask her, how many times do you have breakfast, from none through to a couple of times to, every day.
Yeah, okay. Look, it's such an interesting topic. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this, driving in their cars or wherever they're listening, will be thinking, oh, yeah, I've always wondered, because some people aren't hungry at breakfast time.
That's right.
Yeah,
but we've been talking about it as practitioners for a long time, and now we'd just like Angelica to give us the real lowdown on whether or not breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
No pressure at all, Angelica.
No.
All the best with it. I really hope it goes well. Now, we have a telephone number if you are interested in being part of this. Again, if you're a typical Aussie bloke aged between 18 and 44, the telephone number is 0499 878 284. That's 0499 878 284 for the typical Aussie bloke study. Thank you so much, Angelica Quatela and Dr. Lesley MacDonald-Wicks, for your time.
No problem at all. Thank you for having us.